When Knut the Great died in 1035, his empire was still intact, but his legacy was fragile. His designated heir in England was Harthacnut, his son with Emma of Normandy. But Harthacnut was off in Denmark, putting down a rebellion. Weeks turned into months, and the throne sat empty. And into this vacuum stepped Harold Harefoot, Knut's older son by a different mother, a mother who was not a royal like Emma, and not part of the plan. His nickname Harefoot probably calls for some explanation, even if I can't provide a definitive one. It's not totally clear how he earned this nickname, which might not have even been given to him until after his death. It was possibly just meant to describe his physical skills, a skilled hunter maybe. But Harold's swiftness in seizing the opportunity when the throne was vacant seems to make this a fitting nickname for other reasons. Harold's actual claim to the throne was shaky. He obviously hadn't been intended by his father to rule, but he had something more valuable than legitimacy. He was actually there, in England. Because of this, he gained real support from powerful northern nobles, and he moved fast while others waited. Okay, why northern nobles? Well, remember, in the north of England was the Danelaw, or what used to be called the Danelaw, a region conquered and occupied by the Vikings, many of whom had assimilated into the local culture. And for this reason, many in the north were still sympathetic to the Danes. Of course, you might say his rival Harthacnut too was at least half Dane, but Harold Harefoot was just as good an option as any for these northerners, and many of them were not too keen either on Harthacnut's mother, Emma, with her Norman roots. So anyway, Harold took his chance and stepped into power. He ruled as a regent, officially holding the kingdom for Harthacnut. It was an I was just saving your seat kind of move that's probably familiar for any of us who have siblings, but it didn't take too long before he dropped that whole pretense and claimed the crown outright. Not everyone accepted him. Emma in particular refused to recognize his authority and retreated to her stronghold at Winchester. When she invited her exiled son Alfred, who was Edward the Confessor's brother, back from Normandy, Harold had Alfred captured, blinded, and killed. Another brutal reminder that kingship in this era was won through action first and foremost. Harold's reign lasted just 5 years. He ruled efficiently enough, held the kingdom together, and kept the Danes quiet, but he was never secure. And as if to underscore this point, when he died suddenly in 1040, Harthacnut returned with the fleet, reclaimed the crown, and had Harold's body dug up and thrown into a marsh. Harold Harefoot didn't reign long, but his rule tells us something important. The people valued the presence and power of a king who was actually there, and they were even willing to set legitimacy aside for this. Sure, he was a placeholder king and maybe even a usurper, but for 5 strange, uncertain years, he was England.